Danny McCray, 5-year NFL vet, champion at LSU, champion of the challenge, also a 6th place finisher of the Survivor 41, which at 6th place is way better than
way more places than I would ever
way more than I would have. Also, the guy used to shut down Jay Mitch at practice.
Now we lying. Here we go with the lies. Now we go
back
with
in the day. Danny, bro, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you for having me. Listen, I understand my 1 year with the Bears, it doesn't count. So I'll take my 5 years with the Cowboys.
Hey, 6 years. That's my bad. That's on me. 6 years. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm from Lafayette, bro. I can't count. Sometimes I get lost, all right? I get lost.
Listen, it's all good. Listen, I've never locked Jay Mitch down in practice.
See, there we go.
I probably locked him out of the house a few times.
That definitely happened. That's for sure happened.
That's it. Hey, before we get started into the other questions, hey, is Jared Mitchell the one guy? He's the one guy that I've met. If you don't talk to him for 30 seconds, he's sleeping. He can sleep standing up. He can sleep sitting down. You can be in a conversation with him, and all of a sudden, you don't answer, he's sleeping.
Damn.
Did he do that? He do that for you too?
Nah, see, because when I see Jay Mitch, we be out. So if he falls asleep, he in trouble. When we was roommates, he knows not to fall asleep nowhere but in his bed. Because if that was the case, he was in trouble.
That was just the room period, though. That was all 3 of them.
I probably should be more interested in keep him awake. That's probably my issue. That's probably my issue.
I don't think he was what you were looking for.
Danny, let's talk about this, man. Look, people know kind of where you've been. Tell people where you've been, what you've been doing. What are you up to now? Obviously, you're on Survivor 41. That was in 2021. And then you just won the challenge. Talk about, where you're at now and what you're doing.
Yeah, so after I was done with football, it was 2015. Went back to school, got my MBA, started watching Survivor, and as I was watching it, just like any competitor, I'm just sitting there like, man, I could do that. I think I'll be good at that. And the more seasons I watched, the more I got that itch to be like, all right, let me try it out. So I ended up going on Survivor. Of course, I finished 6th place. I didn't survive. But I think I was very, very close to getting that dub. So I'm happy with my performance. But as soon as that show went off, sat down, the final happened, and then they called me and was like, let's go on the challenge. Now, keep in mind, at this time, now I'm at my current job of working with the Dallas Cowboys, running the youth football program. So we have a bunch of youth camps that we do during the summer, very entrenched in the high school football landscape here, and doing a few other things with sponsorship as well for the organization. So I'm doing that and then also getting the call to go on the challenge at the same time. And thankfully, my 5 years with the Cowboys, I built some great relationships, and they allow me to go pursue those opportunities, and then also come back and still have a job when I'm done.
What goes into training for that? Like, how do you train? Like, how do you train for Survivor or the challenge? Like,
don't eat for 6 days.
I don't understand.
Nah. So I a lot of puzzles while I was at home trying to make sure I had that part of the game right. And then it was during COVID. So what I would do was I didn't have to go to work. So I would wake up, I would eat like a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, and I would try to do my whole entire day on that one bowl of oatmeal. So I'd do a workout, I'll go run some miles, and then I'll see if my attitude changes.
Yeah, you'd have to shit outside. Yeah.
Multiple miles in the heat, just to see, if I could still function, without having that many calories, and also, learn how to start fires and see if I could build a shelter and stuff like that. But yeah, that's as much as you can do.
And I tell you what, if I would die in the first day.
That's
I have no chance.
I'm not on Survivor.
No chance.
But that just like, all right. So this is what you're doing to prepare for it. Survivor, it happens. You're actually there. Y'all are filming, shows going on. What's the one day y'all got to while you're on the show, and they're telling y'all, wait, this is what you're gonna have to do. This is what you have to do. And in the back of your mind, you're like, hell nah, man, I ain't doing it. I can't believe I'm about to have to do that. What's the one that hit you like that?
No, peep this. Okay, so we did it during COVID, right? So I had to do it was 16 days of quarantine, 2 days in LA, 14 days in Fiji. And then we check out of the hotel in Fiji, and then I'm like, okay, we about to start the game. I didn't know about this thing that they have called pregame, where they try to get you acclimated to living on the island. And we walk up, and we see all these hotel rooms at this island called Malolo. And I'm like, okay, we finna sleep in the resort, do our press day and stuff. They're like, nah, y'all not sleeping there. They walk us back, and they got this thing called Tent City, where it's 18 tents and one for each contestant. And we lived in those tents for like 8 days. So I was like, man,
like when you say live, what you mean lived in it?
Man, that's where our bed was. That's where all our luggage was. We had our one towel to dry off with. We had our one towel to bathe with. And, they woke us up in the morning. We'd go eat lunch. And then when you wanted to go back and rest, you took your butt back to your damn tent. And you slept on that little light mattress that they had in there. I'm talking about in the middle of the night, you could hear frogs like bumping into the tent and stuff. This the night. It was that was the moment I was like, yeah, this shit is real.
I have no shot. I have no shot.
Nah, coach.
No way.
No chance.
Well, y'all be surprised, man. Y'all competitors.
Yeah, but
I don't want to compete in that.
Yeah. I used to watch the American Ninja Warrior, and I said, I think I could do that. And then I realized, like, damn, these dudes are like 175 pounds. No way I can do that. I'm too heavy to do that. I don't think I can hold myself up for that long.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, that's not for us.
Okay, so,
no.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you living outside. Wait, so talk to me. You living outside. You got one bed. You got one towel. You got a little tent. Y'all ain't eating much. Do you remember what you went in weight wise and what you left at weight wise?
Yes, I went in at 214, and I was on the island for 23 days, 23 or 24 days, and when I got out, I was 190.
Wow, great diet.
Are you back up there? Are you back up?
Bro. No, yeah, I'm at 225 now. I can't listen. That's what they don't tell you. When you get home, like, you have this urge to eat everything, bro. I was ordering all type of stuff on Uber Eats. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars of Cinnabon and new cinnamon roll places and ice cream and Bahama Bucks. I'm eating if I'm in the grocery store, I'm like just grabbing everything off the aisle. I'm like, man, what the hell is going on with me? But I'm trying to put that weight back on, but it just never stopped.
How long was the total amount of time that you were on the island?
On the island, I was on the island for 23 days. I was gone from home for 55 days.
Wow. Crazy.
Wait, I got one more question about Survivor. What kind of competitor were you on there? What kind of teammate were you? Because there's a lot of strategy that goes into these games.
I don't know.
And the way that the TV can paint it, you could be seen as either somebody that's kind of moving in the shadows a little bit, or a good teammate. How were you like publicly perceived?
I'm impressed by your knowledge of Survivor. Actually.
Absolutely.
Before you even answer that, like as just so y'all know, like I'm watching the show.
You lived with them.
No. Well, the first few episodes I'm watching the show, and if you don't know anything about it, like you kind of have to reveal stuff, right? And so I'm watching it. The cat's out the bag now, obviously, but like he's having to basically tell them like they don't know he's a former professional football player. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, this is crazy as hell.
Man, he's really good at this athletic stuff.
It was. Yeah, I think I would say that I was a good teammate. Just trying to kind of be friends with everybody, make sure everybody trusted me. Everybody knew that I was loyal, so they would come bring me that information. Like Jared said, I never told them that I play NFL football, so I think that was like the only lie that I ended up telling on the island, and I think that's why I got so far. But if you've ever seen the show, it takes no athletic ability to finish or compete in some of those challenges. Yeah. So I only won one individual, but my team, we won every challenge. So
which means he's a great teammate, Lloyd. Great teammate.
I'm a great teammate.
A+ teammate.
I was pushing.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about football. I shortchanged you 1 year in the NFL. That was my bad. 6 year.
I want to forget that year too, though. I want to forget that year.
You're pulling that late guy. God damn.
6 year vet. Let's talk a little bit about the journey to the NFL. You're an undrafted free agent. When you were at LSU, you had, I think, 13 or 14 starts, but you played in a ton of games. You were that nickel corner guy before the nickel corner was like
defined.
Yeah, like kind of what it is now, right? Like now the nickel corner is more of a true cornerback because of the way the NFL is, and it's a passing league. But you were undrafted. You got to the NFL. You played. You had a very successful career in the NFL. You played 6 years. Talk a little bit about that journey, and what do you contribute that to?
Yeah, LSU, man. Listen, so you're in high school, right? And you get recruited. You go to LSU, and in high school, you the man, right? So then I get to LSU, and my freshman year, a guy named Daniel Francis, he goes down, he gets hurt, right? So now they got me in as a starting nickel, which at that time was essentially a linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm in there, I'm playing, and doing pretty well. End of the season comes, and they decide they want to. He's a senior, so they put him back in the Ole Miss game. So I had my little taste of being in the lineup. We go back into the next season, and I think I cracked the starting lineup for a little bit. I think that's a national championship year. Played a little bit more with Bo Pelini. So everything's riding high, doing great, having hell of a years, interceptions, sack force fumbles, all that good stuff. Then junior year comes. And then, it starts going down a little bit, right? I think we get like 2 5-star recruit safeties, maybe Chad and a guy named Craig Lawson. So I lose my starting job. I earn it back in the middle of the season, so I'm hyped, and then I lose it again. So super emotional roller coaster going on with my college career. Then we get to senior year, and I'm pretty much just playing special teams. So I started seeing. So Jared had gotten drafted. Right. And then my other roommate was Perry Riley. So I started seeing him get all this draft, financial advisor stuff. And all. I'm like, man, I'm getting left behind here. And I literally asked him, I said, hey, man, do you think I should even go out and try to find the agent or try to do pro day, any of that stuff? I think football is done for me. He was like, hell no, man. You 225 pounds, you fast, you know how to hit. You got to try. Somebody's going to pick you up. So literally that close away from being like I'm done with football. I go in, I don't pay for any training. I just go with Coach Moffitt, and he kind of works me out with Earl, who is the other strength trainer. And I go to pro day, end up running a 4.4, bench 225 like 24 times. Got on the kind of the vision of some of the NFL people. So at this point, I'm like, okay, man, I might get drafted. Like I went from like not wanting to play to I might get drafted. So watch the entire draft. Seeing all my friends get drafted again, I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen for me. Cowboys called me at the end of the 7th round to let me know that they might not be able to draft me, but they want to bring me in for a workout. They're going to pay me $5,000 grandson. That's the biggest sum of money that I had ever gotten in my life, so I was ready. $5 grand, I didn't know about
Coach, I'm still waiting on it.
I feel that. I feel that for sure.
So luckily, I think sometimes things just work out, right? So I get to Dallas. That was the only team that called me. They had a special teams coach named Joe DeCamillis who was watching another player on LSU, and he just so happened to see me keep flashing on film. So that's how I ended up in Dallas. The safety that they drafted in the 4th round is hurt. He's not going to be able to go through OTAs, minicamp, or training camp. The veteran guys are all injured. So me and another guy named Barry Church are the only 2 safeties in OTAs and minicamp. So we get to show our stuff the entire time. And it literally worked out for us, right? The vets stayed hurt, so they needed more safety. So me and the guy Barry, we both ended up making a team as special teams players, and we just kind of worked our way up from there. I ended up starting like 13 games. One season, lost that job again, man. Shout out to RG3 and Alfred Morris for ruining my start. And that RP was vicious.
Vicious. Now everybody's doing it.
Vicious. It was vicious. Then Jody Camillus leaves and goes to Chicago. I'm pissed off Dallas because they made me take a pay cut on my tender year. So I'm like, forget y'all. I'm out. Go to Chicago. And we win a total of 5 games. The year before, we had went 8-8 3 years in a row in Dallas, and we lost the last game of the season every year to go to the playoffs. So we lost to the Giants one year, we lost to Washington one year, then we lose to Philly one year. Last game of the season that sends us to the playoffs, and then I go to Chicago, who had just gone to the playoffs. We go 5-11. Dallas goes like 12-4. And they go, it's the Des Cohen game, I believe. I'm like, okay, all right. I need to go back to Dallas. Go back to Dallas. Dallas goes 4-12 while I'm there.
So you're saying that you're just bad luck. That's what you're saying.
It must be me. Because
you wasn't living right. Something had to change.
Yeah, that's my last year, right? Tony Romo gets hurt. He breaks his collarbone. He comes back. He breaks his collarbone again. And then that's my final year, and I'm sitting on the couch in 2016, and these dudes go 13-3. So yeah, man, that was it for me. It was up and down. I made it 6 years, and like I said, I was that close to not even trying to play football. So God blessed me with the opportunity. I think I maximized it to the best of my ability, and then, on came reality TV.
Well, so then tell us about. It's so funny you bring the name up. We sat there and we looked at the name. Joe DeCamillis, what does he mean to you? What has he done for your career? What does that person mean to you in your life?
I'll tell you this. Me and Joe D are like friends. Yeah. So we can go out to have a drink, text each other, hey, make sure everybody's all right and that type of stuff. But when I first got there, he literally pulled me to the side. He pointed out the guy that I needed to beat out, the position that he played, and told me exactly what I needed to do to make the team. Right, and he made sure that it was a coach with me the entire OTAs, the entire minicamp, to make sure that I was doing what I needed to do to beat this guy out. And I ended up beating him out. And I would say I was probably the only rookie undrafted free agent on the team to not have to play in the final preseason game of the season because he's like, hey, we need you to be rolling. We need you to be rolling. So he took care of me for my entire career. When I went to Chicago, he talked me into coming, so he made sure that he took care of me while I was there. And then we just remained friends after that. So Joe DeCamillis, for my career, if it wasn't for him, like seeing me while he was watching, I think it was Perry actually. He was watching Perry Riley play on film. If he didn't see me, then nobody would have given me a call, given me a shot. So he believed in me. He wanted to see me succeed. He gave me all the tools and all the opportunities to do so. So I am forever indebted to Joe DeCamillis. And he's a great guy, man. I love Joe D. Jay Mitch, Pivotal, he's a more sane and put together Pivotal.
That's tough.
Bradley Dale.
That's crazy, yeah.
Hey, talk about a little bit how rare that is, though, because you talked about how he's a scout and he wanted the best for you, so he put you in a position to succeed. Right now, obviously, I didn't play in the NFL, but playing in Major League Baseball, you don't always get that.
That's not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal to have a coach or a scout say, hey, I want you to succeed, so I'm going to make sure I tell you what to do to succeed. Can you talk about how rare that is? Is it as rare in the NFL as I think it is in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I think it's very rare, but I think it's more rare amongst special teams players. If you get around any NFL team, probably high school and college team as well, probably the most respected coach on the staff is the special teams guy, right? Because most of the time they keep it real. They see the guys who kind of fall by the wayside, and they have that underdog story, and they love an underdog. Why? Because they know you're going to give everything that you can, because they know that this is your last shot. So not as rare for him to come to me and say, hey, I want you to be that type of guy just because I was a special teams guy. But just like any job as well, if you hire somebody, then you want that person to succeed, right? You don't want to say, hey, man, I'm not able to scout and say that this guy's going to be good. Like, he saw me. He told them to go get me. So then it was kind of on him to prove that he was right in what he was saying. So it was kind of twofold. He cared about me, but then he also wanted me to do well because it showed that he knew what the hell he was talking about.
Right.
Hey, now, so let's flip this thing back to LSU a little bit, because I think this has been something that's been widely misunderstood when it comes to your career and your time here, and we touched on it a little bit just now. As you look at the nickel position and what it is today, and what you at 225 pounds was asked to do, basically playing the nickel position,
cover Percy Harvin and those types of guys.
Does it make you look at the position and be like, man, I can't believe? Because when you're in it, like you said, I'm a competitor. I could do it. It don't really matter what you're asking me to do. If they would have asked you to play the 3 tech and make sure you'd have said, all right, if this is what you're asking me to do, I'm gonna go out here and do it to the best of my ability, right? But when you remove yourself from it and you are where you are now, you look back at what you were asked to do in those situations and what that position is today. How does that make you feel, and how does that make you look at that position and what that is now?
Man, you know what? The crazy part about that is, so you come in, I didn't know what a nickel was because we played pretty much all 21 personnel.
It wasn't really a thing like that, yeah.
It wasn't a thing, right? So I get there, I'm like, what the hell is this position, right? I'm split out, splitting the tackle in a slot receiver. One, what the hell is a slot receiver? Right? What the hell is this out here? So I'm split out, and when I first came in, I was like 214, right? So I was a little faster. But then they started telling me as the nickel, you had to be able to play these zone coverages and then also fill the B gap. So I'm like, maybe I need to gain some weight because Saron Black came around the corner one time and just laid me out, right? So like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Well, we get into the season of my sophomore year, and that's when the game started changing, right? So you couldn't just play palms all day because people wanted to start playing two-man. They wanted to play man-to-man so they could have extra guy in the box. And the offensive coordinators were ahead of the defensive coordinators at this time. So that's why you see guys like, I think it was Dickie Lyons was at Kentucky. I think that was, I could be messing it up. Then you have guys like Percy Harvin, and these people are starting to run all 11. So essentially, I'm a starter. But I'm 225 now, so my covering skills and my speed have declined.
They're about 10 pounds less.
So when I'm going down the nickel, it's I'm oversized and I'm a little slower than I need to be, and then I would get bumped back to playing strong safety, and it's a perfect size, and I'm just as fast as I need to be. But then I started playing nickel more. So I struggled, man. I struggled, and I see why. And I'm like, I should have never been down there.
You should have been outside. You're an outside backer of what they're doing now, kind of.
Hey, this is the sidebar. I don't even know if he actually remembers this. I'll never forget. So me and Danny came in together. We're both same age, same class, right? We living together. So we drew a special bond anyway, right? I can remember our freshman year. So you remember that same picture? LaFell came on here and showed you us coming out. That same game, right? This is like Wednesday, Thursday. We're doing install. We're putting stuff in for the game that week. We cross each other in the hallway. They're coming out of the DB room. I'm coming out of the receiver room. It was probably like Monday or Tuesday. It's like one of the first days, when we first get to look at film of Florida. Now, they got all the names there, bro. At this time, they still got Tebow's there. Chris Leak is there. Cam Newton, before he stole the computers, is there. They got Harvin there.
Aaron Hernandez.
I mean, they have all of the names there, right? And so I asked him straight up. We're crossing each other. I think we're about to go into a different meeting. We're crossing each other. I'm like, hey, what they look like on film? And his answer to me, he looked at me, his eyes got big, and he goes, man, they got dudes going all over the place. I don't know what's going on. And so to myself, as I kept walking, I'm like, man, we've got to put up like 40 if we got a chance at this game.
Oh, dude, that's gotta be a bad feeling. Going like, damn, I gotta cover. Percy Harvin was probably the fastest guy in college football.
He was ridiculous. No, he was ridiculous,
bro. And that was like the beginning of the jet sweep and the lining up in trips closed and running to the trip side.
If people don't remember, this is literally the time Urban had just left Utah.
Yep.
Alex Smith got drafted 1 overall. He brought that system to Florida with all of these absolute thoroughbreds running around. So there you go.
Man, that was a different monster, man. And then and then we played just one more. We played cover 3 like man to man, right? So me as the nickel, if we play cover 3, I had to run with Percy Harvin everywhere except on a corner route. So I'm like, I'm essentially playing man to man in every coverage that we had except this thing called palms, which is kind of like a 2-to-1 read. But every time we played cover 2. I had to carry the seat, and then I pass them off later. But it was literally just man to man before man to man is what it is now. I was like, man, y'all asking me to do it, bro, but I'm getting my ass cooked now.
Hey, tell me before we start talking about the current LSU team, right? So as an outfielder, that's the only thing I can compare. I mean, I played football coming up, but I obviously didn't play at LSU or in the NFL. But as an outfielder, as a center fielder, coming in and taking a bad read on the ball, then going back and realize, like, damn, I just got cooked by this. There's no shot. It's a terrible feeling. That's the only thing I can equate to, damn, I got beat on a double move, and I'm trying to catch up, and I'm looking at the ball, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I'm done. Like, what is that feeling like and I don't want to, bring back any of this stuff, but it's just, I've been there, I'm going to catch this ball. I'm like, oh, shit. I got it.
And Danny, I had to watch that game, so, we all feel bad.
Yeah. I'm assuming y'all talking about that Percy Harvin tip.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just anything, just really anything.
You gotta catch that, the whole game changes.
So two things. Okay, the Percy Harvin tip. We're in cover 3. I'm playing underneath Percy Harvin. We're supposed to have a middle of the field safety, which is Curtis Taylor at the time, right? So I tipped this ball up, and I'm like, the dude either got to get hit or this got to be an interception.
Right.
What Curtis is, I have no idea what Curtis is at this. So actually, that's not even on me.
Right? No. I know that. I wasn't really specifically pointing that play out. But everybody that's played football long enough has gone through something like that.
Yeah, but listen. Let me tell you something. I've been in that situation so many times that now, when I finally got a hold of it, it's, hey man, you just can't panic when you get in that situation, right? Because what happens is somebody gets beat on a double move, and then they panic and they run, and then they pass interference instead of going to catch the guy and trying to get your head around or playing through his hands. So I had enough experience of getting beat on those moves and feeling like shit because I knew it was happening. So at the end of my career, it was like, I ain't panicking. You know what I'm saying? You could play through his hands or you got to catch up to him first. But the first few times, because it's college football. It's 100,000 people in the stands, and it starts getting quiet, and you hear that,
And I would imagine, too.
Throwing it to my man. I know he's throwing it to my man.
I was about to say, I would imagine, too, as soon as you get beat on like a double move, you just feel like everybody in the stadium knows this man is wide open. There's no way the ball's not coming here.
You're just hoping he look into the other side.
Somebody get to the quarterback, please.
I'm hoping
your hands go up, and you're like, oh, man.
I'm hoping nobody noticed, but it looks like everybody just noticing right now.
Everybody saw it.
All right, let's talk about. Have you been keeping up with the Tigers, like the this year's Tigers? I know, obviously, you went to LSU. The blood runs deep when you come here. You kind of. You're part of that fraternity. You're here always. Kind of have that special bond with the school, right? More so than a lot of other schools. Have you been keeping up with the team this year?
I keep up with them enough to know, that we won or lost, or how we ended up winning or how we lost. When we played Florida State, I was on vacation, so I didn't get to see it. But I got all the texts about special teams, and of course, everybody's going to text me about special teams. Right. So I'm like, oh man, like that's not a good way to start, but. We were close and we had a shot. And then I think, was Southern next?
Yeah, it was Southern next. Southern was the next game, yeah.
Then it was Southern, and I was like, it's Southern, right? Right. So of course, and we better perform how we expect to. If not, then it's really worse than I thought.
Yep.
Then, what's next? Mississippi State?
Yep, Mississippi State. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay, we might be all right. Because at the same time that we're beating Mississippi State, the Cowboys have a backup quarterback, and we're winning, right? So I'm like, could this happen, right? Could we get a new coach, and then we could still win, just how the Cowboys got a new quarterback and they're winning? So now I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm drinking it heavy. So when we get into finally the Tennessee game, I'm glad I'm not allowed to bet on college sports. Because I would have been upset. I was upset. If you're wondering, I was upset. I did bet, and I was upset.
Well, first I was more upset that we drew the 11 a.m. slot because I was coming to the game.
Yep.
But then I'm like, I'm glad we drew the 11 a.m. slot because how it ended up looking, it worked out for us. But that was probably the first time I was like, man, LSU was outmatched.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't watched the game and been like, man, this. Like they have better athletes than we do. They're coached better than we are, like across the board. Until we played Tennessee, and I was like, man, okay, we actually do need that three or 4 years to see if Brian Kelly's going to be able to do what we hope he can. But I was drinking the Kool-Aid and saying maybe we do it in the first year.
Yeah, I think everybody was. Look, I'm the most optimistic person in the world, so I get it. Now I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic. Let's talk a little bit about the special teams. Obviously, very well how important special teams are, right? What is, in your mind, the issue with the special teams right now? Obviously, muff punts and muff kicks, like that's not coaching per se, right? Like that's a guy just brain fart, whatever it is, miss it. But the coverage lapses, having 50-yard punt returns, not being able to cover guys on kickoff returns. What do you think is the issue there, and how do you get it fixed?
Man, look, I don't know any of the coaches there, so I don't want to, I don't like bashing guys.
Yeah, of
but
course.
to be
Fire away,
honest,
dude.
Yeah, we're being honest. Be honest.
if I'm being honest, it's coaching.
Yeah.
Like even to me, even your punt returner not being able to field punts to me is coaching, because what happens is if a guy can't catch, he's not comfortable catching, he don't need to be out there. And these most of the time are things that you can see within practice, especially if you have a guy out there catching extra punts because he doesn't seem as comfortable as he should be. So at the end of the day, it is up to the coach to put guys out there. Even if they're not the best returner, it's a guy that has sure hands. And then you get to the coverage stuff is, man, one part of coverage is make sure you stay in your lane. Mm-hmm. The second part of coverage is, hey, man, you got to have some dogs out there that really have some incentive to go down there and make that tackle, right? Are people bought into your special teams unit, or do they feel like it's just something that is a stepping stone for them to do this and then move on to possibly being a starter? Right. When I was at LSU and when I was in the league, we had guys that were excited to be on special teams.
Yeah.
Like it was – We were racing down the field. We were trying to see who was going to make that tackle. We were celebrating it as a team together because it was something that we really took pride in. And if you don't see that on your squad, then you got to find a way to get that type of buy-in. And then when you get to the field goal kicking, it's coaching. Like when you get those blocked field goals, the way that they got it blocked, this is something that you should have repped so many times that guy just naturally in his mind, that's just a habit that he steps inside. He protects inside first and just gets a little tap on the outside. This is football 101. So the coaching to me seems to be the issue, from the inspiring guys to really want to go out there and make plays to also being technically sound.
Lloyd's very happy right now.
Yeah, Lloyd loves everything. He literally is just tasting himself over there right now.
Post-coital.
Hey, as you talk about it, I mean, I think that's a great point you bring up, man. Like if you watch their games right now, you see their special teams units go out there and you see them play. Whether they're making the plays or whether they're not, the one true thing I can take away from any team that I watch, especially like how special teams, the pride that was taken into special teams here in the past, and even if you watch teams in the league right now, the teams that are good at special teams, they are truly, truly, truly super excited when a play is made. Like the whole unit. They take pride in that. They want to be out there. They see it as a stage for them and not as like you said, a means to an end. Can you talk about that feeling of what that meant for you to be out there in those situations and how you viewed it?
Yeah, listen, I took it. One, I had been on that roller coaster. So at this point, I just want to play football, right? And what can I do to make sure that I'm on the field consistently, right? And that's perform to the best of my ability when they give me the opportunity to do it. And that was on special teams. And ironically, the more I played good on special teams, the more the coaches tried to get me out there on defense. Yep. One, because they knew I had the heart to go out there and put it on the line. And two, it was like, this dude got some ability to make tackles, and he knows the angles to get out there and probably make open field tackles as well. So we're going to give him a shot. The same thing happened for me in the league. I think, do you have a guy? That's why I tweeted. I was like, man, let me get in the room with the guys. I'm not saying I want to be a better special teams coach, but do you have a representation of a guy who made it the way that I did, or made it a Ron Brooks did, right? Who went out there, kicked ass on special teams, ended up in the league, and then being known for a guy who made it multiple years, got pension and everything, just because they were special teams guys. Everybody's not going to be a starter. Everybody's not going to have long careers and go to the Pro Bowl at the position that they want to play. But if you want to find you a niche, if you want to make it to the league and you're not a starter, then you need to ball out here on special teams, because it is a real phase of the game that people really put value in. And if somebody's conveying that message to them, then yeah. And that's how I felt when I was out there. Hey, man, I just want to maximize my opportunity. My mom and them in the stands, my girlfriend in the stands. I need to make sure that when I get out there and the product I'm putting on the field, that they're going to be happy about seeing it. So that's how I took it in my mind. And you got to remember, Jay Mitch, we had me, we had Shep, we had Perry, we had Jai. Like, we had guys in there who were going to get you hyped anyways. And if you went out there and played like trash, you was going to get clowned in the film room. So it was not to go out there and make a play. I remember I got a punt block my freshman year, and literally we lined up. and the dude said, "Boo!" and I jumped on the first one, and I had a false start. And Perry laughed me all the way to my door to WCA, and I ended up getting a punt pop. And I'm feeling bad, and these dudes in here just laughing like, "Well, you couldn't block that dude, right?" So it was really that's their way of like holding you accountable to do the stuff the right way. So that's what we had while I was there.
Hey, if you are the coach in the special teams, do you bring the same energy Shep brings right there on the defense on the linebackers coach in Detroit?
Yeah, no, me and Shep have a different kind of leadership. I'm gonna bring the energy, but I'm gonna bring it in a different way. I think we got a different way of leading, but I love Shep on that show, man.
They highlighted him a lot. He looked good. He did good. He did some good stuff.
This is what Hard Knocks does to you, though, okay? Because then I go on my podcast and I'm like, hey, man, I love that coaching staff for Detroit. They're going to make some noise this year. They're going to make some noise, I'm telling you. I'm like, bro.
Might fire the whole staff.
Well, they made some noise. They're just not making no.
They got shut out.
Finishing with no W's right now.
They're back.
Same old Lions, huh?
They're back.
You can't figure out a way to win the close ones, and then you go out there and get shut out as you the highest scoring team in the league.
Yeah, but they do a lot of up downs together. That's fine.
Yeah, they do a lot of up downs. They do it, but the guy that the Shep was talking about is actually playing really well. So
he is playing well.
He is. You had one. You had a question, Lloyd.
Oh yeah, we do a show earlier in the morning from 7 to 9. We had Jay Bramblett on, the LSU punter, and he was talking about the special teams, quote unquote, like team meeting. This is LSU's second team meeting in as many weeks, and so they're really locking it in together. And the word that you used that Bramblett also used was buy-in, but he used it in a different way. He was like, what we really need after the meeting is we're just trying to get guys bought in. And so if you're 6 weeks into the year
that's not good,
and you're still talking about buy-in on one phase of the game that's hurting LSU so much, I mean, where do you really go from there?
You don't got the right guys out there.
Yeah.
If you need buy-in this late into the season, this far into you don't have the right guys out there, right? We call them war daddies. You call them dogs. You call them whatever you want to call them, but they're in the locker room. You just got to find the guys who want to do it. And I know this is a whole different generation where everybody's seeing the league and seeing what you need to do to get there. But there's some guys out there who just want to run out there and play some football. They just want to run out there and hit somebody.
Yeah.
It's the coach's job to find those guys. They don't got to be the biggest. They don't have to be the fastest. They just got to be guys who have the athletic ability and the effort to get down there and give it everything they got to make the tackle. That's all they have to have. It does not, you don't have to run a 4-4. There's dudes that I play with, they run a 4-6, and they can get down there before a dude who run a 4-4 because they got that dog in them. And that's what they got to find in order to be able to have that type of buy-in from the entire team.
Hey, gotta have more dogs.
Yeah, it's a sprint.
Gotta have them.
Coach, it's a sprint to the student section. Let's see who the first one get the hand up. Let's get these people going.
You know what you see with buy-in? You see when you get buy-in, you see a guy. You see our punter punt the ball. It bounced on the 2-yard line. Guys running down there. Doesn't quite get the ball to save it to keep it on the 1-yard line. And you see Tennessee do it 3 drives later where the punter kicks it down there. Their guy gets all the way down there and catches it, downs it at the 1, right? Like, all that is just a little bit of like, hey, you know what? I'm going to make sure that I go and make that play, and he makes the play. If you have a little doubt, you don't make the play. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, and you know, another one is, do you understand how big the play is?
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is it just keeping it out of the end zone, or do you understand that now that puts your defense in a position to be successful because they starting at the 1-yard line?
Right.
Do you understand on punt return that, okay, it ain't all about scoring, right? The way you break it down is, hey, man, if you get a 10-yard return, you just saved your offense from having to get one more first down.
Yeah.
Right? So, we didn't score every time, right? But I got 2 10-yard returns. That's 2 first downs that our offense now does not have to get. Do the people that are playing on your special teams think that way? Or do they think, hey, man, this is, like I said, this is just something I'm out here to do as a stepping stone to then get on the field?
It's funny you bring it up that way because you remember, like I remember, it was almost like the special teams here was like a rite of passage. And it's almost like a feeling as if it's, hey, let's try to get right now, it's almost like a feeling like it's, hey, let's try to get such and such said name because he's this and that player on here. And I don't think the guys are understanding that message. Like Danny will sit here and tell you there's a kid we had here who was a walk-on, skinny as can be, If you looked at him, I didn't even have to say it. I didn't even finish. Skinny as can be. If you literally just looked at him, you were like, he don't belong on the field. And every day when you turn the special teams tape on in practice until it became, hey, kid, this is you're going to actually do this in the game. Every day when you turn the special teams tape on in practice, he was the first one down there. He was faster, more explosive than and it jumped to the point to where he earned a scholarship. And this became the only thing he did. Right? And so now imagine that if I got this walk-on who, if I put him in street clothes, he looks like he belongs in the fraternity house. If I put him on the field and he's doing this, and it's on tape every single day, and it didn't matter what the day was, what time it was, how many times they ran down there, he was beating everyone down. Well, it's hard to have not have buy-in from Danny McCray, who's the high recruit coming in here, who's also got another job to do on the team. It's hard to not have buy-in from Kelvin Shepard, who's like, well, shit, if he's doing it, I got to do it too. And I don't think, like he said, I'm not sure you're filling those roles with the right people to inspire the other guys to be able to do it correctly.
I agree, and I think the coach has a big part in it. Hopefully, we make.
I think we got a coach on the line right now.
You want a job? You want a job?
Nah, man. Listen, I'm busy doing other things right now.
Yeah.
Maybe after I'm done with all this reality TV stuff.
I got you.
Yeah, I saw that challenge paycheck on Wikipedia. I don't blame you at all.
What's next on the reality TV circuit?
We got the championship. So it was the Challenge USA. They also had a challenge like Argentina, UK, and Australia. And the winners from those shows are all going on to this global tournament to then compete against the MTV people as well, I believe. So
awesome.
That'll be next coming up soon.
Nice. I don't know if you can't give me any details. I was going to ask where it was at.
So then we get back to the challenge. I need just explain this thing right here. So I don't know if you guys were able to see it at all. He can explain it more in depth. But when you do the challenge, you get to the final. The final they do at a remote location, different from everything. They do this whole unbelievable thing where it's freezing cold, and they do this hike up this mountain for like 3 or 4 hours. Maybe it was halfway, a little further the way through it. They're doing Sudoku puzzles and shit, and I'm just like, bro, what is going on? The end of it, though, is, and I'm still waiting for this picture, by the way. I need to see this. But the end of it, though, is him at the top of the mountain overlooking the entire area. Can you just talk about that particular experience right there, the final of it?
Yeah, just getting to the top of the mountain, or you want me to take you to the whole final?
Take us through the whole final, yeah.
All right. So, the challenge, the finals are known for being like super crazy, right? Over 24 hours worth of stuff, just nonstop. So we get out there, they drop us in the middle of this lake. We're in Patagonia, which is down south, really, really close to Antarctica. So they drop us off on this little plank. They're like, hey, swim 500 yards in this rough, choppy, open water. When you get to the beach, there'll be the slide puzzle that you have to complete, and whoever completes it first, they win. They get 5 points, right? And there's like 4 or 5 different legs, and you like accrue points as you complete the finals. So jump off and swim. I suck at swimming already. The waves are crazy. The waves are crazy, bro. I'm talking about, it's to the point where I'm swimming and the waves just going over my head. I'm like, bro, am I going to drown? But there's a guy behind me who's like, get me out of here. I quit. So the cat behind me quits. Me and my partner, we pull up to the beach last because I'm slow swimming. We end up finishing the puzzle first. So that's the first part of it. Next part, they're like, hey, all right, hey, sit down. They got a big, huge white onion and 10 cloves of elephant garlic on this plate. And they're like, you got to eat this before you move on to the next part. I'm like, bro, come on.
Your breath probably smelled good too bro. After that, huh?
Bro, so for the garlic, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pop them in, take a sip of water, and then just swallow them, right? The third one gets stuck in my throat. Pause. And I'm like,
pause.
I'm like, man, all right, how the hell I'm gonna do this, right? So now I have to chew all this. So now I gotta chew all this garlic, chew all this onion, right? And then after you finish with that, you go through this like knee-high like swamp, and you do these math questions or whatever, and then you come up with the total, and that's the second part. Worst part, we get to the overnight portion, to where they say, hey, it's a pole on this side, it's a pit on this side, 25 yards in between. You have to move the dirt from the pole to the pit, reveal the code, move the then when you finish with that, move the dirt from the pit to the pole, walk up the dirt, and then unlock this bag. So that took us like 7.5, maybe 6, 7.5 hours to complete that part. We get to sleep at like 5 a.m. They wake us up at 7. Keep in mind, we're sleeping in the tent again. Wet clothes, wet everything. Is freezing. It's raining outside. We've been walking through horse manure all night, so we all sleeping in this one tent. 8 onions and garlic, so it smells horrible in here. And they wake us up at 7. And they're like, okay, all right. So at this point, I'm winning. I got 17 points. The guy behind me has 16. And they're like, all right, whoever makes it to the top first, you get double points. So now I have to finish before the guy behind me, or I'll lose after doing all that work. So 10-mile hike up the mountain, walking up this mountain or whatever. We get to the first puzzle. The guy's way ahead of me. I finish the puzzle, catch him at the Sudoku, and he gets stuck at the Sudoku, and I know how to do it. So I end up finishing the puzzle before him, pass him up, get to the top of the mountain. And at this point, where we started at, it's just dirt, right? It's dirt, it's red, it's wet as rain. By the time we get to the top of the mountain, it's like knee-high snow, raining outside, gray clouds. But then when you get to the very top of the mountain, you're like almost above the clouds. And if you do a 360 view, you see Patagonia. And it's just straight beautiful, bro. Something like you probably never seen in your life, because there's lakes all around the place. The sky all of a sudden started clearing up, so it's no longer gray. It's like the clouds are opening, like I'm at the pearly gates.
I think you were dying. Yeah, that's what I think was happening.
It's an out-of-body experience.
When I got to the top of that mountain, I thought I was dead. Okay, I was freezing. I was like, I'm probably going to lose the toe. At least I'm going to lose the toe. They're in there, they're like rubbing my toes and my fingers, and they just keep asking me, can you feel it? Can you feel it? And it took them like 15 to 20 minutes of rubbing until I was like, okay, I'm starting to, like, they're not numb anymore.
Pause.
I can actually feel all my limbs and my extremities. But I'm going to send Jared that photo. I'm gonna tell you something. It's beautiful, bro.
What's that feeling like when you get up there and you're like, damn, I'm grinding through this for almost a month in misery, trying to do this, and I get to the top of the mountain. Like, literally, the actual analogy of life. Like, hey, you just gotta keep climbing until you get to the top of the mountain. Like, you literally did that in real life. Like, what's that feel like?
It was, you know what? It was more surreal because I've seen this show on TV since probably 2012. So I've seen all this before, and I'm just like, I would never do that. And then to actually go through it, and then, like you said, you go through times of like, I played 6 years in the league. I'm fine at home. I got a wife. I got a kid. What the hell am I doing out here? Like, I could just go home right now, and I'll be absolutely fine. But then getting that feeling in your head where that competitive spirit kicks in again, because that's what we're all looking for most of the time.
Right.
Like, when you're done with baseball, when you're done with football, you still have that itch of like, where can I compete?
Yeah.
And making it up that mountain was my opportunity to have that itch again, and then go through that. Like, hey man, you gotta be stronger in your mind, right? You gotta be stronger in your mind. You can make it to the top. When you get there, it's gonna be something like you never experienced in your entire life. And just having that feeling of having to overcome something again, like having to run 26 110s, having to run 1040s, and then run them again in the 100-degree heat in Baton Rouge, like having to overcome that thought in your mind of like, I can't make it. I think that is a feeling that us as athletes will probably search for the rest of our lives, because that's when you get the most joy of like, I overcame something that I may have thought that I couldn't do, and I made my mind tell me that hell nah, bro, you gonna make it to the top. So
I think that's why you see a lot of athletes, a lot of former athletes be so successful in the business world, right? Because that's about as competitive as you can get outside of. Now, it's not physically competitive, but it's mentally, emotionally, and you still have that competition. Like, hey, I'm gonna go out there. It's hard to do. Nobody thinks I can do it, and I think that's what makes an athlete tick, right? Like, they try to find something that you can compete in.
Yeah, and there's no feeling like it when you especially when you win.
Yep, no doubt.
We all hate losing,
No
right?
doubt.
So it was something I lost, but then winning on top of it is like, one, I'm thinking like, who else is going to do this, right? Who else is going to do this? Who am I showing that they can do this as well? As cliche as that always sounds, is like, I know it's some former NFL players, former professional athletes that probably watch these TV shows as well and be like, man, I'd never do that, because I went into it scared of heights, can't swim, Definitely didn't want to eat nothing like that disgusting. I want to sleep in the tent, with my same clothes on or whatever, do all that. But I did it on Survivor, then I did it on this one. I'm like, there's guys out here who are looking for that itch and looking for something to do, looking for that next avenue, who may not be able to open a business, may not have the savvy to do other things. But this is another avenue that you can take to then start you another career that you want to take till you're 50, or to just kind of be a placeholder until you find out what you want to do.
No doubt. Danny, man, we kept you a lot longer than I thought we were going to keep you. I appreciate all your time because this was awesome. You're awesome. Are you going to be in Miami?
Yeah, so I got to go to World Championship, man.
Okay.
Oh, there's a spot open, Coach.
Okay.
There we go. I'm back in the game.
Lloyd, y'all know.
I got a chance to possibly get another $500 to $1 million, man. So I'm gonna have to miss Miami.
Hey,
you
need to miss Miami.
I would miss Miami too for that. All right, I'd miss Miami too, man. But look, hey, I appreciate your time, dude. We want to have you back on at some point. Best of luck at the World Games or whatever. What is it called? What are they called?
They don't even know. It's
World
just called the World something.
Yeah.
The World something.
He don't even know where you're going.
Good luck against the world.
It don't matter now.
I hope you bring back that $1 million. And then when you do, we'll have you back on. We'll talk about it. I appreciate it, dude.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. This was fun as hell.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to come back on, please come back.
All right.
Is he look familiar?
2 tribal councils, 1 fire-making tiger.
Is him getting voted out?
Wanted the adventure of a lifetime? Grab your
That's classic.
Damn, you made this man go out like this?
They didn't have a challenge video up of him winning yet.
Hey, dude, I appreciate it. This is perfect. Right on the credits. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, though.
All right, y'all.